Here we go, folks. Happy to bring you presentation number 8. This is the final one in the series. Very thankful if you're still with me throughout all of this. Hopefully you don't think I'm crazy. I can assure you that for everything that I'm telling you, that there's thousands of other things to validate just the divine esoteric aspects of, I guess, my presence. I'm going to leave it at that. I left off talking about the two things I learned, that the Grail is like too valuable for any one country to have. It was never meant to be for the United States military or for one nation. It's like a gift for all of humanity, and you can see why greed would take over very fast with something like this. And even your own number two, even your own family will betray you, or like out of greed, out of you know the deceit and just other things. Like it's just like it's a lot of power, and it's a double-edged sword, I guess, is the point I'm trying to push here. Uh, all of this, ties into the whole thing. The Knights Templar was given an amazing gift that they were responsible for protecting, and maybe they did for quite some time, but then they just decided to rape it and like basically manipulate it, contort it, distort it for greedy personal advances and their family. And it's really sad. And I almost feel like I said it was like a setup by the Chinese or other people, or part of, like I said, a much bigger matrix. But yeah, the Knights Templar are really screwed up, in my opinion. Ties into like Roman Catholicism, and I'm not going to go too much further down that rabbit hole, but one of the biggest regrets in my life is growing up around these people is that, like I said, they push this anti-Asian sentiment and anti-Muslim sentiment. And like later I come to find out that they're some of the best people on the face of the earth. And, I really believe that the magic that's entailed in the bloodline is from, I like to say, China, Russia and China. If you ever read the book The Art of War, it talks about how they'll never go to war with each other because they're like so closely genetically ingrained in the same roots of origin. And that's who my sword is. Like I said, if I didn't have Russia and China like basically protect me, who would I have? I'd be thrown to the wolves here in the United States. They don't give a damn about me. They don't give a damn about my family. Like I said, I'm 36. I'm intelligent. I'm not dirt floor poor. I have a good education, very articulate, hell of a nice guy, and yet I'm like so deeply suppressed that it sickens me and saddens me. And I ask for you to pray for me that I'm able to escape my captors. And it's taken every ounce of strength in me to break free from these people, like the mind control. Like at one point, I was very badly mind controlled, and I feel very blessed to, like I said, to be liberated from this. And like I said, our mind should not be on insignificant things. Like our mind should not be on material possessions. Like there's a much bigger picture. Like I said, the consciousness that we carry in this life will definitely impact the next level of consciousness that God has planned for us. The Bible talks about varying levels of heaven, and I assure you that this world and the simple BS that people cling to here is not the end game. And like I said, there's countless other stories that validate my presence. I've like tons of them. I have stuff I started writing down, but like at some point it gets to be too old. Like I'm not like one to blow my own horn or something like that. Like I'm not a narcissist, and like it's cool, a lot of this stuff, but after a while, at the end of the day, I just want to have a family and a happy life. But someday, if I ever have kids, people are gonna come up to them and say your father was a badass dude. Like all this, like the risk that I took in talking about the topics that I did and everything else. And like my sky is so heavily chemtrailed all the time. It started when Trump was in. When Obama was in, it really wasn't as bad. It's really weird. Like it's nothing short of blasphemy and just an effort to disguise or hide the hand of God. Like some of these formations are like really, really specific and amazing, and it really bothers me that they would do this. To be honest with you, along with other things, the chemtrails have like 80 purposes, mainly to kill you. Sterilize you, put aluminum in the air to make it more, have a higher conductivity, also in your body. I'm not going to, weather modification, hiding UFOs, goes on and on and on. So I can't help but feel that, what on a side note too, like my abilities to control the ionosphere and even the cloud formations is extremely valuable at this point to the military, given that we're, like I said, I believe in nuclear warfare, and like whether or not they actually let me go or leave this country, I don't know. Like I said, I have a Russian visa. I'm looking to go to the Space Museum in Moscow, do some interviews, hopefully to expose the fake moon landings, and some other work there I like to do as well. And I was there for May Day Parade in 2017. The dynamics around this trip compared to the last one are starkly different. It's very important for me to go there with just like a level of honor. Like I don't know how many more celebrations there's going to be above ground at this point. I cannot help but feel that Ghilslaine Maxwell is like I like just in a key position to really expose this thing. Like I said, she could really bring the house down. I pray that God weighs on her heart, and that like maybe she gets afraid that she's going to face a very long sentence. If she's even in jail, she's probably in Florida. Like my alchemist told me like weird things, like just like Epstein, I don't think really died. And the whole thing is so deep that if it came down, it would really get ugly. Hillary Clinton's another one in a position to really really bring the house down too. Like I said, it would connect everything together. Another name that I forgot to throw in there is Bill Gates. Like I didn't want to leave him out of the whole presentation, because I mean, I really believe that the whole thing with his divorce is like very close to this cloning thing as well. Like there's probably things that him and Melinda, and like I said, her maiden name French is like right in John D. Rockefeller's family tree. And like I've talked in the past about how like I really believe that like people go underground and then like come up, like they know that every so often some type of cataclysmic event occurs, and they go underground and they allow certain people to come up with certain achievements, advances, and accomplishments. And that's just my personal belief. I really believe that the enemy is trapped. Like that these people, that a lot of them are underground already. And like I really believe that that the way they have to have it set up is like they probably have ozone and oxygen generators, air purifiers. The air that they're breathing is like 100 times quantifiably more oxygen rich than the air that we have up here, like above ground. Like if they were to even come out for maybe 3 minutes to 30 minutes, they'd probably start puking, get very, very sick. You probably don't notice it because you've been exposed to it, but like you'd almost, if you went into a pure oxygen environment, you'd feel like you were probably high, like literally on drugs. I take 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. I've done many presentations on my channel, various things, suppressed medicine, pretty amazing stuff. To this day, they still play games with me. Like at the end of the day, I just want to have a happy life and a family. And like I really pray that like I can have peace in my life at some point. Someday, like I said, I want to write a book, but I really believe that this presentation needed to happen first. Like there's it did. Like I needed to get this out. Like to write a book and not incorporate this, it wouldn't embrace the true like nature of, I guess, my life and just everything. And we're good, at least be a good reflection of it, I guess you could say. It's almost like a suppressed book of the Bible, or a book that was like not written in the Bible, like the Book of Michael or something like this. Of the remaining prophecy, which to my estimation, about like 89% of the prophecy has been fulfilled, the ones that interest me most are people throwing their gold and silver in the streets. And it says like the silver will be thrown in the streets, and the gold will be removed, probably by the Russians. They'll probably take it and build some more gold dome cathedrals. Destruction of Israel, which like ties into this proclamation to build the third temple. I told you I made a proclamation in 2016 in Perryville, Maryland, and like there's like it says there like 1,000 something, like it says in the book of Daniel that like the Messiah will be present and he will be denied, and like 1,000 and some days after the proclamation, like the destruction of Israel will happen. It's like, I guess, open to interpretations. Another one is the rapture, and then just the end, Armageddon, destruction by fire, whatever. Sometimes maybe a new end, or an end is a new beginning. Maybe the whole singularity thing, maybe it started with one man, and maybe it goes back to one man, like Adam. And just the whole notion of the singularity, like I said, it's a really interesting concept, almost into the part of prophecy, like other things that tie into it too, that the Bible chooses not to acknowledge, like aliens, just deeper connections to science, angels. And I want to say too that like a president that like gets a lot of fame, Ronald Reagan. Like he was actually it was during his administration where he made some kind of a secret treaty that like for the CIA and like the intelligence agencies, so like anybody is like has divine abilities or special abilities or psychic, for them to be suppressed, like to keep them like suppressed under the radar, and to like poison them and drug them. Like that was under Ronald Reagan. And that was like the president when I was born as well. And like I don't think he was as good of a man. I think he had connections to pedophiles, and like he looked good on TV and everything. He was an actor, actually, for real. But I think he was pretty stinky too. And I like I said, I want the third temple. I want to like personally lay the cornerstone at the third temple. That's like my end game. Like you can say whatever you want to say about me, whatever. Like I'm really I don't go to synagogue. I actually go to a mosque from time to time. I used to be a Christian. Used to go, like I said, a Pentecostal church. I really enjoyed that. African American people, amazing gospel singers. And think with the testimonies. Nothing like it in like a Protestant church or Baptist church. And like I said, there was this lady, Anime Strouser, amazing woman. And I used to really enjoy going to church, and I haven't found another since then. I kind of do my own thing now. And basically, I've found that every single church in the entire country is controlled by like one or two families. And if anybody got up and started talking like real hardcore prophecy or like exposing the truth, they would probably either be ran out of town, brought in on some kind of charges, or killed in a car crash, or poisoned, or who knows what. And like I hope that you don't think I'm crazy at this point. I know, like I said, I've gone a lot of different places here. I think you almost have to say like even a crazy person couldn't make this up. And there's, I know the value of my story. Someday, like I said, nobody's going to want to hear about David anymore, in my opinion. No disrespect to David, but like the people that I've come after, make him look like nothing. And I talked before also about the whole thing with the hedging. Like we've entered a time where like you need it you need to pick a side. Like the time to pick your side was yesterday. Like you can't like the whole like Rothschild thing where they like let's give money to two opposing sides that are fighting against each other, and we can we win either way. Like that may have been cool in the past, but like it's not cool anymore, man. Like you either stand for what's right or you stand against the will of God at this point in time. And imagine being these people. They had the most amazing, beautiful gift from God, and they raped it, distorted it, destroyed it, and manipulated it for their own personal greed and advancements. And that, like, if there really is an afterlife, they really probably have to be questioning, what's going to happen to them and their soul after they perish from this earth, this material world. I believe also that Solomon was a fraud. I really believe the real magic happened with David. David was had some serious backbone and wouldn't sell out or bend and break to the manipulation of the Zionists and the people that probably killed Jesus. And that I don't understand the whole thing why he wasn't allowed to build the temple. I think it was a deeper suppression of him, to be honest with you. And it's not possible to do a presentation of this magnitude and not forget something. I've covered tons and tons of things. It's really a side note. It's kind of interesting too when I do my annotations here, that there's always a spot where I needed to put an annotation. It's like magic that it just happens to always be a spot. It's really, really weird. So I'm going to tell you a prayer that I wrote. I told you about my experience with the Muslim culture and how I found out that some of these people are the best people on the face of the earth, and the word Allah comes from the roots Alleluia. God has many names, and here it is. Glory and praise to Allah our King. Be with me on my darkest day. Always guide me along my way. Through triumphs and troubles, through misfortune and newfound love. Someday your fiery power will bring peace on the wings of a dove. There's similar themes to this as in the Quran. I actually wrote this before I ever read the Quran, but I find it to be kind of interesting that it's very close to some of the things found in actual namaz prayers and things that they follow. I'm going to show you some pictures here, and I'm going to tell you a poem that I wrote, and there's kind of like a reason for showing you the one picture. at the end. These pictures are taken with actual real photography, and I've tried recently getting just like a real film. Like when I go on trips, I get like a disposable camera, like a store, like pharmacy or something, and I just enjoy the old photography, like real film, I guess you could say. And one of the characteristics of nuclear radiation is it prematurely exposes film. Like I said, like you go get a camera and try this for yourself. I was recently at a festival and talked to another person as well, and I've talked to like 2 photographers that actually said that like they've had the same thing. And like I learned this from my 10th grade or 11th grade chemistry teacher, Mr. Brown. This is Michael the Archangel Cathedral, Moscow. Amazing energy where Michael Romanoff is buried. When I went in there, I didn't want to leave. Really, really enjoyed my time in Moscow. I'm looking forward to going back there, hopefully, if they let me out. This is the Motherland Defender statue. This is a really big stainless steel. And their shield is the Soviet Union hammer and sickle. Really cool in Kiev, Ukraine. Underneath is a museum. There's this place called the White Room where they have like all these photos of the dead Ashkenazi Jews, like Hitler came after. And a lot of history there. And this one is like very, very important. This is the monastery in Kiev, Ukraine. I believe the date is like 1020 AD it was built. So like 1020, 1060 AD. Very, very, very old. And really, really, really interesting. Like I said, this is where Russia began. And like this is what the fight all comes down to in the end. Like this is not the United States'. This is not NATO's. This is not, like I said, the UK. This is not Italy's. This is Russia. So I wrote this poem a while back, and I'm going to give it to you. And one by one, the flags came down. Bitter until the very end, but eventually they all touched the ground. The American dream, the American scheme. In the end, everyone found out who had the strongest team. Hands that are dealt by the forces that be can't deter the truth and continue to manifest fallacy. Please, please watch my other presentations. I've done amazing work, various topics, some of my proudest work in my entire life. Some of the ones I like the most, the placebo effect, my suppressed medical science, and the stuff about, like I said, the human trafficking, also like stuff that nobody else talks about. And my views on my channel are gained very heavily. I'm hoping, I get some viewership here with these presentations. It'd be interesting to see what kind of response I get. I hope, like I said, you don't think I'm crazy in the end. I assure you that I'm not. And, not really sure where I go from here. I have a few other presentation ideas. I've kind of backed it down a little bit, but I'm very thankful that, you're here to watch this series if you stayed with me the whole time. I serve my God with great honor and dignity. With all the cloud formations and everything, you can see why I have a very, very close personal relationship with God. It's just like it's very clear. Let our minds always be fixed on Him.